Now to the guilty verdicts against political insider Ed Buck. A jury taking just a few hours to convict him in connection with the deaths of two men inside his West Hollywood apartment. Prosecutors say Buck exploited the men by paying them to come to his home and giving them drugs.
The families of those two men saying justice has finally been served. John Fenolio live at the courthouse with reaction tonight. John.
Sharon, Micah, this was an emotional and at times disturbing trial. Prosecutors say Ed Buck was a predator who enjoyed luring vulnerable men of color to his home to inject them with drugs until they became incapacitated.
Finally, Ed Buck will never harm anyone else, and I thank God for that.
The families of Timothy Dean and Jamel Moore celebrating outside federal court after learning that Ed Buck will likely spend the rest of his life in prison.
The lives of black gay men matter, and the lives of black gay people matter, and the lives of black people matter, no matter if they're homeless, addicts, survival sex workers, or escorts. Their lives matter.
The verdict was reached in less than 5 hours following 2 weeks of graphic testimony on federal charges that Buck supplied the methamphetamine that killed the two men in his West Hollywood apartment in what was described as a twisted party and play fetish by the once prominent Democratic donor.
It was a tremendous honor to be able to vindicate the rights of the victims in this case.
Prosecutors presented overwhelming evidence against the 66-year-old, including hundreds of photos and videos Buck took of naked men he'd hired to use drugs in his apartment. More than 20 witnesses testified, including 4 men who described smoking meth that Buck provided. Some said that he injected them with meth without consent while they were passed out.
I'm the person who was able to walk out of Ed Buck's house and be able to tell my story.
Buck's attorneys argued witnesses like Dale Brown were drug addicts who were lying to make money. Prosecutors called the defense strategy despicable victim shaming. The verdict was delivered 4 years ago to the day Jamel Moore was found dead in Buck's apartment. Timothy Dean died in Buck's home in January 2019.
I thank everybody that has helped keep us strong throughout the 3 weeks that we've been here.
4 years ago, I got the worst news that I ever could have imagined. But today, 4 years later, I got the best news.
Buck did not testify in his own defense. Other guilty charges include maintaining a drug den, distributing methamphetamine, and enticement to cross state lines to engage in prostitution. Buck's sentencing date is still pending. We're live downtown. John Fenolio, KTLA 5 News.